Hello, everyone. My name is Abhijit Ray, and I have secured All India rank 50 in the civil service exam this time. I have with me Narayan Amit, my friend, and who's going to be my batchmate going forward. And he has secured All India rank 70. And we both are from anthropology background. Sorry, anthropology was our optional this time, and so we decided that since the mains is just around the corner, around a few months is left, and people are putting their last polishes into the mains preparation and the optional preparation. So why not we share our cumulative experience and our strategies that we discussed into this entire thing, or into this discussion. Probably will help some aspirants. At least that's our hope. So first of all, Narayan Amit, thank you so much for coming. I know you are a busy guy. Thank you so much for taking the time. I'd like to begin by asking you, so how we are going to keep this is, since we both are trying to answer the same question, he will answer and then I will answer the same thing as well. So I think the first thing that we should discuss is our background. Like, what is your background?
So firstly, thank you very much, Abhijit. And I think it's a very nice initiative that both of us, since we are taking an anthropology optional, I think it's a very good initiative that both of us are doing together. It was a very novel idea and I really liked it. So here we are and we are doing it.
Yep.
So, and I think our preparation journey also has been somewhat similar. We have improved our marks in anthropology slowly and
Yes.
we both like anthropology a lot. So I think that there's a lot of synergy between us.
Exactly. Exactly.
So background wise, I think so that like I have no background in anthropology. Probably I did not even know what anthropology means before I took up UPSC preparation. But like when I was deciding the optional subject, my primary consideration for choosing any optional was that it should give marks. So then I heard that anthropology is one subject where you can get a lot of marks compared to other subjects. So I had no background in anthropology, but I was able to watch a lot of topper videos, and that's how I came across anthropology as one of the possible subjects.
Right.
So I did not have any background, but like through the course of preparation, I came to know about it. What about you, Abhijit?
Same
Do you
thing.
have any background in anthro?
Zero background in anthropology. I'm an electrical engineering by profession. So this was my fourth attempt. In my first two attempts, I had taken electrical as optional, although I could not give mains in both the times, but I had studied electrical. Then I shifted in my third and fourth attempt. Again, completely new, no background. And third time I struggled a lot. I will come to that, but like exactly like you, zero background, and I did not even know that there is such a beautiful subject called anthropology that even existed in academics. I mean, I'm really grateful that I got the opportunity to study this subject so well, and UPSC has given me this opportunity. So yes, I think that covers the background part. The reason why we did that is we want aspirants to realize and appreciate that you do not need a background in anthropology, or I would say any optional, to do, except the technical subjects, of course, to do well. It's just hard work and the strategy that needs to be right. And we are here to help you out a little bit on that aspect. So my second question, Narayan, would be that why have you chosen anthropology specifically? And a corollary question to that is, what are the criteria that you decided upon when you choose any option?
So, Abhijit, as I rightly mentioned, apart from few of the science options like physics, chemistry, or maths, or your graduation subject, I think in humanities there is no bar that you need to have a background, especially sociology, PSI, anthropology. All are very good options, and you can choose any one of them. But why I chose anthropology? I think there are some specific reasons to it. When I was choosing optional, I went through the entire list of 20 options and started cutting down the options which I was not. For example, agriculture, definitely I'm not going to take.
Right.
So things like that. So when you do this exercise, you will be left with 3 or 4 options. For example, I was left with sociology, PSIR, anthropology, and maybe mathematics also, you can say. But then I started looking at some criteria. What is the first criteria I think anyone should have for choosing optional is whether it gives marks. Because since you want to get the top rank in the examination, all else is secondary, I feel. Even interest to some extent can be subdued because we study 10, 15 subjects in GS and we don't have good interest in, I think, most of them, but still we study and we get very good marks also. So I think getting marks in a subject is the primary criteria. So one general indicator for this is that in the last 3-4 years, are people getting a top 20 or top 15 rank because of the optional intent? So I would call this general scorability of the subject.
This because of the optional is
not 1 year. Yes, definitely, as you have correctly mentioned. So if people are there in the list who are consistently getting all PSIR, sociology, anthro, all people are there who are consistently getting into this. So the general scorability of the subject is very good. Then why anthropology? I think there are some specific reasons. After narrowing down to 3-4 options, one is that the demand of the question is known in anthropology. There is only one answer when the question is asked. There is no ambiguity. In sociology, yeah, there is a lot of ambiguity. In Anudeep Durisetti, in one of his blogs, he said that I have studied PubMed for 4 years, but I still do not know what is asked in the question, or what is the demand the examiner question is expecting. Similarly, in history, if you see, like which school of thought or which lens you should apply when answering the question is very, very complex. Whether you apply a Marxist lens or another different kind of historiography. So whether the examiner likes it or not, there is a lot of ambiguity. But in anthro, it is not like that. There is only one answer. If they ask you what is a European Mesolithic, there is only one answer for that. And that is one thing. And the other thing is that then you should see whether it suits your temperament. My temperament is that I can remember a lot of facts. I can remember around 70 to 80 sites in which each 3 points of the Mesolithic site. So that was my strength. That's why I took anthropology compared to sociology, where you have writing skills. There you have to eloquently write what is this. I have to describe the issue. If you're not able to cover all the dimensions in sociology, you will get less marks. So if I were to take sociology, I think I would get around 230, 240. But since memorization is more important in anthropology, so that's why I was able to score much higher in anthropology. So primarily mark giving. Then after that, my temperament, is it suitable to the subject? Background, I don't think is much of an important factor. I think one of the other factors that is overrated is shortness of the syllabus. So anthropology is not a short syllabus at all.
Exactly. Exactly. I was under the impression that it was a short one. I started with that false impression, and then I certainly realized that no, you need a lot of hard work even in anthropology.
Ji, bilkul. Like I think it took me at least 8 to 9 months to do anthropology properly. And any optional you take, it definitely takes 6 months plus to do the optional to get 300 or 280 plus. I think this is one of the constant factors because degree level paper is there. You need to write technical points.
Exactly.
And that is one of the reasons why I think that is one common myth that is there in anthropology.
Yeah. So you answered it very well. I'll just add a few points that since I had taken electrical, I had moved away from it. Primarily, the first reason that you said is scoring marks. If I have a 4-page 20-mark question and in electrical engineering, I do the 3.5 pages correctly, and then in the half page, I make a calculation mistake, then out of those 20, I will end up getting only 3 or 4 because this is a technical subject. In anthropology or in sociology, that part is not there. You will probably manage to get 7 or 8 marks. Or if you're a writer, 9 marks also. So it's punitive in technical, it's additive marking in the optional, the sociology thing and the anthropology, at least these two I can say. Again, I did the very same exercise that you did. I created the entire list and then I started cutting off. I was left with PubAd, anthro, sociology, nothing else. So I ticked off PubAd because, PSIR because it had a lot of this one, current affairs related topics, dynamic topics, which I did not want to do again and again. I wanted a static sort of a thing. Secondly, I chose anthropology over sociology because evolution. I was reading this book, Yuval Noah Harari's *Sapiens*, and obviously anyone who's read that book would know that after reading it, your mind is fixated on evolution and how cool way the book is written. So that, I think there was no looking back after that. Yes, I think everything else you've answered very, very well. I really like the point that it's all about getting marks. I mean, this exam has no place for sentiment. This exam has no place for your idealistic feelings that I was an electrical engineering graduate, so it's my duty to take electrical engineering. No, it's your duty to take whatever gives you marks and get away from this exam cycle as fast as possible, which you very rightly mentioned.
So I think, two other highlights just wanted to add is that you mentioned about current affairs. So in anthro, as far as best of my knowledge, there are no current affairs. One of the ways of evaluation is current affairs, but as such, I did not read any magazine or anything for current.
Nothing, yes.
So, so once if I made an answer for Narmada Man, even if 5 years later the question would come, the answer would be the same one. And I would get 7 on 10 for,
exactly.
That's one definite thing. And one overrated thing is that there is an overlap with GS or something. I can tell you that people who do history also are not able to answer the questions that are coming in history and films. And many people who take PSIR as optional, their GS2 scores might be actually lesser than mine. I got 110 in GS2, but many people who take PSR also, their scores also less in GS2.
Exactly. The same goes for geography.
Yes, geography is even more.
It's a very overrated reason why people take this overlap with GS. I believe that for that small advantage of a little overlap, you end up taking a subject where you have to study so much. I mean, it's a huge technical subject, geography and all. And the marking is again a little punitive over there. I forgot to mention one thing, Narayan, that like you are the person who probably got one of the highest marks this time in anthropology. So, I mean, you are the expert among our midst, and I'm really glad that you are being able to share your insights here. So that is one thing I was not able to share. I forgot to share at the outset when we started this video. So it's great that you're sharing your expert opinions here. Right. So moving on, the book list. So I think your and my book list would probably be very similar, but still for the sake of completion, let's pick up one topic after another, broad topic, and then let's discuss the book lists that you refer to. And then if I have any addition, I'll add. Otherwise, we'll move on. So you want to start topic wise,
Like you
or
can start, Abhijit, whichever topic
okay, okay.
you can say, and we both can.
Right.
Yeah.
So paper one, let's do paper one. I'll come to the 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and 12, which is the first three and the last sections of paper one later, because I believe that these are the four chapters that you should study at the end rather than at the start, because you'll be able to write the best answers then, because you have the good best material, because
Yeah.
this encapsulates your entire preparation. If you write interconnected answers, then the answers for these four topics should be the best, and I don't think you need a separate preparation for that, but we'll still discuss anyways. Let's talk about
Definitely.
sociocultural anthropology, specifically sections 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, which basically is the sociocultural anthropology. And you also have the syllabus, so you can correlate what I'm saying.
Definitely.
So tell me the sources that you refer to for these topics.
So with respect to, I think 2.1 to religion, firstly, I had done Ved Sir's book on In Search of Ourselves. That is a very lucid book and very simple to read. And it is very insightful. So it's a very small book. I think 150 to 200 pages are there. And generally all people who have done anthropology, I think most of them have referred that book. So it is a very easy book to read, and you can make your basic notes from that. So you can first make your actually basic notes you can make from any material, and then you do 2 cycles of value addition, either from a test copy or any other source. Then I think your answer will become much rich. But doing the basic basic material you can prepare from any book. So in this case, from 2.1, which is nature of culture, to I think religion, which is chapter 5. In this
Right.
books, I had used the In Search of Ourselves.
Right. In Search of Ourselves was your basic thing, and then you did value addition from let's say internet or some test toppers copies and
Yes.
stuff like that, right? So
Mostly it was topper copies or test series.
Topper copies or sorry, which one?
Test series. Some if I
Test
took some
series.
test series,
Test series. Right. So I had referred to Varnit Negi, who was in fact a student of Vedser, and he had very nice notes on sociocultural anthropology. I referred to that, and for value addition cycle, I did from Ember and Ember, as well as from the internet, a few lectures here and there on topics that I did not understand, and the EPG Pathshala, right, which is the government or let's say the postgraduate level study material that is freely available on the internet. I downloaded sociocultural anthropology topics from there, and any topic that I felt I was not able to write an expert level answer, I did my value additions from there. Like you said, I did multiple rounds of value addition, but for the basic thing, I referred to Varnit Negi's notes. That was it.
On very important thing. Suppose if someone is confused on topic like political organization, then if he's not able to form his notes, I think the simplest way is to take some toppers notes and make that as your base notes, and after that you can do the validation or add some things to it.
Yes.
So many
yes.
chapters I did that for
Yes. So basically, your base should be somewhere simple. I mean, you cannot start from a very complex sort of a base. Your base should be simple. You make your notes and then you do the cycles of value addition. That is probably will give you a better cost benefit analysis, right? Very rightly said.
Right.
So that was it. I saw that you left out this chapter 6, and I know why, because that is a very, very important chapter in itself. And probably I think we should talk about that chapter separately, apart from because that probably is the most important chapter in paper 1. If I think you would also agree with me, right? The theories chapter, because that will help us write cogent answers for many other aspects. So going forward, we talked about till the religion, that is section 5. Then anthropological theories maybe we'll deal with later. 7 and 8, culture, language, and communication, as well as research methods. What did you do?
So for, I think, language, that is chapter culture, language and communication, Ember and Ember, one chapter is there. That I think is the standard golden Bible for this. And every year they can ask hypothesis or something as well.
Yes.
One thing I think I'll mention is that in each of the chapters, for example, if we needed some content, we literally refer to Akshar Jain and Vivek Vasmi's book and the answers, the material, whatever that was there.
Right.
I think we added for notes also. That is one thing we do in all the most chapters.
I would just like to add that Vivek sir's book is for value addition rather than, you cannot use that as your reference book by itself. That was the mistake that I did in my third attempt. That is my first anthropology attempt. I used that book as my sole source and I got penalized very badly for it. So these are value addition books. I mean, you need to know the difference between what is the book that you should use for value addition and what is the basic source. Your basic source should always be a broad one, should always be a simple one where things are explained in detail rather than in points and everything, right?
So, like, to illustrate this point, I think in first attempt you might have taken the answer from Vivek Vasmi, but in second attempt, after making the basic notes, you took the 2-3 unique points that were there in the book that were not there in your notes and added.
Plus value addition from a lot of sources like Ember and Ember and internet and everything, and toppers like you mentioned. Sachin Gupta's, for example, was one topper who came in my mind. He has excellent anthropology answers. Sachin Gupta sir's notes are available, or notes as well as I think toppers answer copies are available on the internet freely. You can search and you can use that. He was, I think, Telegram is also available. He was, I think, 2017, right? 17 or 18.
I think 18 it was there.
18 it was there.
And I think Mandar Jain Patki 2019, Sachin Gupta, Varnit Negi, all of these are anthropology toppers of 18, 19, 20, and all of their notes is available on Telegram for free.
Yeah, I referred to Varnit Negi's notes, and he was a student of Vaid sir, so indirectly it was Vaid sir's notes. So yes,
I also referred to his notes. You've been handwritten ones where you steal the pen.
Yeah. Famous notes, man. I mean, these things stick in your mind, right? It helped you in your career. The notes, the way the mistakes are there in the notes, how we cut those pages, those small things.
Yeah, definitely.
So you talked about the culture, language, and communication and research methods in anthropology. I would say that you can directly refer to some toppers notes because it's a chapter where you need to write. You need to work a little hard to make your answers different from others by inculcating some examples, some current examples, and stuff like that, right? Because it's a sort of general sort of a chapter, the chapter 8, research methods, right? It's all about value addition and setting your answer different from others, right? So
there is no one book for this, and fieldwork tradition, you have to give unique examples, as Abhijit said, and I think that is the go about this topic.
Exactly. So
some topics like this, the topper basic notes, if you see, I think that is a very good starting point, as you have mentioned, Abhijit.
So we are done till 8. Now, anthropological theories, let's discuss a little in detail, because this is the most important chapter. And if you like, for all aspirants, I would say that if you see any other toppers videos on anthropology strategy, they're going to say that the more effort you put in this chapter, the better you understand and better are able to include points of this chapter in other parts of your paper 1 and even paper 2, the better and more value added your answer is going to be, the better it is going to look than other people. So this is a chapter that you really should understand very well and work very hard for all value additions possible. So Narayan, tell me, what are your sources that you referred for this chapter?
So I think one of the major problems in theories is that by the time we come to American diffusionism, all of us are very tired after reading so much of theories.
Exactly. I used to think that this is a problem only with me, man. Even you face the same problem.
So this symbolic cognitive postmodernism, neo-evolutionist cultural personality, we are very tired to even do this topic. So I think the risk is that if they ask in 10 markers, then the entire 10 marker is gone. That's why you should do the theory. But there is no one source for theory. Like, for example, if you talk about cognitive theories, there is no single source for it. I think the best starting point is the topper notes that they have done the value addition and keep on adding 2-3 points to them. Like, for example, they say there is one Alabama website, but I personally found it very difficult to. I could not understand much from the Alabama website, University of Alabama.
But it is a good said, right?
Yeah.
Some parts were good. Some chapters of that were excellent. I did some value additions from there, which I've put my notes in my Telegram channel. But some parts I would agree with you, they're a little difficult to understand, especially postmodernism and all these things. It's written in a very complicated sort of a way. But there are some chapters that are written. Actually, the thing with Alabama website is that different authors write different chapters. So everyone has their own style of explanation. Right. Some explain very well. Some explain thinking that the person reading is someone who is a PhD in anthropology. Right. So
I think classical evolution is very good in that website. Classical
Exactly.
evolution is
Yeah.
very well
Yeah.
explained.
And it's classical evolution is the one in which we spend most of our energy, because वो energy नया नया रहता है ना starting में उस chapter का एकदम तगड़े से हम पढ़ लेते हैं उसको. So we're sort of done with the sociocultural anthropology part. Now, so that does from 2.1 to 8. So now let's see a little before that. So primates and their evolution. I think these two would be together, right? Primates and the Homo erectus and all this. Basically 1.5 and 1.6.
Yes.
Yes, and 1.8 in a way as well. 1.8 actually has more linkages with paper tools archaeology, but we can discuss 1.5, 1.6, and 1.8. 1.7 is biology, we will discuss later, but 1.5, 1.6, and 1.8. Tell me.
So I think primates and fossils is a very tough chapter only, especially if you don't know the terminology, it becomes very tough to do. Yes. So here also the issue is that there is no good book for this actually. So ideally you should refer to some proper notes, or if you have done some coaching, then the notes that for that also you should refer. Or I have put my notes on my Telegram channel. That also actually I would say that my notes, especially fossils, primates, and archaeology, I think they're really the best among till now, whatever, because I saw all the topper notes and you did specialization in this. So if you want, you can refer my notes also. They're exceptionally good for fossils, primates, archaeology.
We are going to put your Telegram channel's link in the description of this video, as well as mine. But my notes are not my notes, it's Varnit Negi's notes. So I think I can safely say that Narayan's notes will be better. Not that Varnit sir was bad, but this guy, because this is a difficult chapter, you're very right. It's a technical chapter. And the trick here is to remember as much facts as possible, and those small things like how many cc was the cranial capacity and all these things, right? The diagrams is important here. Technically correct diagram you need to draw. Some maps you need to draw where the fossils were found, the name of the people who found them, which year did you found them. The more detailed you get in this answer and the more points you give, the more marks you're going to get. So that is one thing that I realized. And yeah.
And in many of the books, like Peanut, like I think many of the stuff is very much outdated. The 2-branch, 3-branch model is there, but it is not followed for astrology.
It's not followed these days. I also agree. Yes, absolutely. So like you said, there is
that's why you should follow some
proper notes and probably your notes, whose Telegram channel link we're going to put up. Okay, 1.6. 1.6 we discussed, right? Primates and 1.6 we discussed, and 1.8 archaeology.
I think for archaeology, most people again find this difficult because they're not clear with the cultural phases. What phase comes after which one? That is one of the major reasons. And so I think D.K. Bhattacharya's book is there, and his videos on EPG Pathshala are there. Those are the gold standard. And for each site, you just try to remember 3 or 4 unique points and then make your notes.
And do value additions with maps and remember some sites and everything. I did a special value addition from, but this is not Indian, right? So I did value addition from this one, Ember and Ember as well, where it is very well explained. The different rocks and everything, the cave art and everything, very, very well explained. And I think my value addition that I did from Ember and Ember is actually very good. So I would suggest that the Ember and Ember part value addition, which I put up as a PDF in my Telegram channel, the aspirant should refer to that. If you don't want to read Ember and Ember to save time, you can just refer to that. Yeah, you were saying something.
So I think that Abhijit has done very good thing that his valuations from Ember and Ember he has put up. So definitely you can refer to that. And I have done something similar, that all the boxes information I have put up. So I think if you can refer both, that would be very good for Ember and Ember. And this is a trend that if you can add 1 or 2 points of Ember and Ember after you have done some technical topic, it will give you more marks compared to just doing the
I have seen that in the mock.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So actually these are tough topics and there is no sugarcoating this. That fossils, primates, archaeology is a tough topic only. So ideally you should go through some top notes because the structure will be there. For example, if you talk some Mesolithic, all the 6 sites will be mentioned, all the characteristics will be mentioned. But if you try to go through some notes, I think you will not understand exactly what is the content. Too much other content will be there. Exactly. For example, I remember distinctly in DK, if you see the site called Chiran, so much content is there that this paragraph, this kind of tool was found here like this. You will not understand which one is the important point here. So to crystallize the content for the first time, you should refer some proper notes. Proper notes,
because they have done the hard work. You use them. And then if you want to do value addition, if maybe in a mock test some question is asked which you're not able to answer on Chiran, then some new perspective is come up, you just add to your notes. That way of note making is very important also, which I think the aspirants should take back, especially beginners. That
I think some book also is very difficult to read. Indian archaeology, his book is very difficult to read. I think his videos are much more elucidative, but the book is very difficult to read on your own, I feel.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, he has written it from a very expert level perspective, right? And we have to pick some
Yes,
points,
definitely.
and we have limited space in our answers. So all these things become a challenge. Normally, such questions are asked in 10 markers, which are 2 pages only, right? So and 150 marks also.
So I think generally archaeology statement is like this, that in Mesolithic, in a site called Chiran in third layer, 4 scrappers were found and the angle of flake of percussion is something like this. So by the time we complete the sentence, we are very confused what is happening in
Exactly.
the sentence.
I mean, you should. I was confused that should I refer to the angle or should I refer to that 4 scrappers were found, or should I focus on the fact that on the 4th layer? I mean, that these are the things you spend your mind on, right? Right. So we have sort of done 1.5 to 1.8, except 1.7, and we have done 2.1 to 8. So that's it. Now we will do the biological anthropology part, which basically is the 1 point. It starts with 1.7, which is the cell. Then it goes to 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, 9.4, 9.5, 9.6, 9.7, 9.8, 9.6. That's it. Then comes ecological anthropology, which is different. So basically 9.1 to 9.6 and 1.7. So your thoughts on the sources? This is the crux of biological anthropology, right?
Definitely. And note-making also is tough here also to some extent, but I did not refer to Peanut because I found Peanut to be a little outdated book in a sense, not updated very regularly. But I had referred to Wetzer's material for this, and I think that was my major source. I had not referred many other things. Yeah.
And same thing.
And I don't think many good topper notes are there also physically.
It's not there.
Only few toppers are.
Varnit Negi's notes are good on this, although it's a little, I would say, untidy at places because it's cut a lot, because it's difficult notes to make actually. And indirectly, so I also refer to Wetzer's notes, and these notes are again available. So aspirants should refer to that. So that covers basically. So basically, biological anthropology, all you're saying is Wetzer's notes are enough. And if you come across some new perspective, new question in your mock test or in some discussion, then don't think twice before adding to your notes, because value addition is important here as well. Diagrams is also important as well. So yeah, so that was this. And so yes, right. So what have we discussed till now? We have discussed biological.
So I think paper 1 we have completed.
Right, paper 1 we have completed.
Yes, so
no. Paper 1 we have not completed. We are still left with ecological anthropology. A lot is left actually. So we have finished 1.7 and 9.1 to 9.6. So now we come to ecological anthropology part, which is 9.7, 9.8, 10, 11.1, 11.2, 11.3. Ecological anthropology and the developmental anthropology. I don't know what you call this. Basically 9.7 to 11.3. Your thoughts on this?
So for this also, I had only relied on Wetzer's notes. I have for entire physical from 9.1 to I think 12. I had only relied on Wetzer's notes. I had not referred Peanut for this.
I had done this part from Wetzer's notes as well as value addition from a lot of places. What, for example, the developmental anthropology, right? For example, the theories of aging and all these things. I took special effort to refer to the name of the scientist who came up with this. For example, there is this way of writing in technical answers, right? That Malina et al, ETAL, which means this person and others. So those things I incorporated. So I think my notes are extensive in this regard, but it's very detailed. I mean, Wetzer's notes I know are good enough. But if you want to do more value addition, you are welcome to refer to my ecological anthropological notes and do that.
And I think I would do a lot from Akshat Jain and Vivek Basme in these topics. I would see what is the value addition and add to that from Akshat Jain.
Yeah,
and Vivek
but
Basme
not as primary sources in themselves, because that is not well made as primary sources. I mean, such books are always secondary sources. These are never the primary sources. It is only standard books that can be the primary sources. So that is one thing aspirants and especially beginners must keep in mind, because there is this tendency seeing Vivek Basme's book that, oh, answers are written like this, and normally there is this saying that anthropology में previous year questions पढ़ लोगे तो हो जाएगा. बेटा आजकल नहीं होता है ऐसा. पहले होता था, अब तो बहुत you need to study really broad. So that was that. 11.3 we have done. So now we are left with four small topics: 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and 12. So for this, let me mention at the start that I referred to paper Varnit Negi's notes, and I did little value addition from here and there. But I think the idea is that this should be studied at the end when your paper 1 is completely done, because answers to this, the better, well connected, more diverse, and more diverse answer you're able to write, the more marks you get, right? What do you think?
I definitely agree with that. When we start branches of anthropology, we don't know exactly what is social. We don't study marriage, religion, family, kinship.
Exactly.
So this is definitely should be done in that.
Right.
And it is much easier if you do that, and it saves the time also.
Yeah, it saves the time also, and you know what you're talking about. In fact, you don't have to study this chapter very well. These chapters very well, because except chapter 12, the first 3 chapters you won't have to study well, because if you have done the other parts of chapter 1 correctly, then this will be a cakewalk. You will be able to write good cogent answers anyways for this. So that was that. Right. So we are done with paper 1. So yes. So now let's do paper 2. Paper 2 is Indian anthropology, basically, and the application of anthropology. So do you want to do the, do you want to take lead in this and go topic wise?
So I think I'll start with tribal first,
Right.
because I think that covers, I can say.
So basically we're talking about
firstly
6.1 to
6.1 to 9.3.
9.3, right? The second half of the paper. Yes.
Yes. So in that, definitely all of us should read Kaka report from cover to cover. It's a very good report and gives you entire tribal scenario in India very comprehensively. If you do base notes and parties tribal notes, because I feel in Akshajan the tribal content is not very good, especially it's very short and the details are missing. So in Mandar and Patki, I had formed the base notes and had done this. And also some content I had taken from Nadeem Hasnain. Those 2 books are there. I think at least 1 book is there for tribal India. That from that few content, but that is little outdated. So primarily I had relied on Mandar Patki's notes and Kaka report.
For me, I did it primarily from this. What is his name? Varnit Negi's notes, as well as I did value addition from Nadeem Hasnain, and the Virginia Zaza report is very good. I mean, that should be read very well, and you can take the recommendations from there, because some excellent recommendations are there. Basically, it's about value addition, case studies. Work very hard to compile the case studies. Put case studies as much as possible. Put some contemporary data. Yes.
One thing I like to mention is that I had also gone through Varnit Negi's notes, and he used to give very good case studies like Chaubasa cement works or something like that.
Yes.
And many things you would write the case studies apart from, like Akshay Jain has done some work for tribals. Apart from that, he used to add more further case studies. So I would just pick up the case studies and pick up case studies from Mandar Patki, and I would get 3-4 more case studies. So that is how it should be done, I think. So try to get case studies, basically everyone.
Right. So for a basic understanding, the Zaxa report is good, and then Nadeem Hasnain's book and case studies and value additions are very important here. Try to see toppers answer copies for how you want to approach answer writing for this, or how you integrate the various value additions into your answers is very important. So that sort of, because the sources are not that much here. It is about answer writing that is more important, and the way you integrate your answer with the value additions. So the first part of paper 1.
So I think with respect to the first part, so the Indian archaeology, the sources remain the same as first thing, and Narmada and all that is the same as fossils. So
right.
And my notes are on that, so definitely we can differ. HO archaeology, I think, is an easy topic. My notes are there on that. But now coming to Indian archaeology, now we are seeing this all the caste and the Indian village and the Sanskritization and also demographic profile. I think one very good book is there by Nadeem Hasnain called Indian Anthropology, that I think can be forming the base material, because he will explain universalization, localization.
Very well.
So base material.
Yeah. That orange and blue colored book, no, that you're talking about. Yeah. You can show the books actually. So basically, Nadeem Hasnain's book is very good on this. This one, the famous book, man. This
I think I had read this, one of the only books that I read from cover to cover.
me also, cover to cover, and it's very enjoyable to read actually. This book, yeah.
It is much better than his tribal book, I guess.
Yeah, it's much better than his. I have not much referred to his tribal book. It did not make much sense to me except some topics.
It's very outdated. I feel 25-year-old case studies are there in that.
Yeah, 25-year-old case studies. Just some concepts that you can take, for example, nature man spirit and all these things. But overall, it's because again, paper 2 is more about value addition and application. It's about the way you write your answers due to the case studies and all these things. All these things are very important here, right? So
and one thing is that like, for some concepts like Indian village or something where you need some value addition, some unique insights, case studies, or cosmopolitanism, all that you can say take from Amit Negi or Mandar Jain part ki. Some topmost, I think you should refer for paper 2 because it's very concept adding. You will not think so much about the concept. If you take from topmost, it will help you a lot after doing the base material.
Right. So base material
and then from oxygen also after that.
Right, base material and toppers notes and Akshat Jain or Vivek Baspe, basically, right? Is what you're saying. Right.
Yeah.
So yes. So now, so we're sort of done with the book list part. I think some interesting questions that come up for, especially for people who are beginners, is that how much time is needed for preparation, which I think you have answered, saying that around 7-8 months is needed for good preparation if you are just beginning. Since I done
3 months for the first time, maybe 2 months for the first round of validation, and 2 months between mains and prelims. So 7 months to 9 months, depends on the person.
Right. So that is that. And which topic should we begin from? Paper 1, paper 2 included. What is that one topic where we should start a preparation from?
I think people can start from paper 1. If they feel that marriage is the easiest chapter for them, they can start from marriage, or they can start from theories also. But I think people should start from marriage or theories. Both are
fine. Because these are topics that you can relate to, right?
Yes.
That is a very good idea.
I don't think people should start with physical. Physical is a little tough to start with. I think we can start with marriage or
theories. You should start with something that you don't get overburdened with, and you can relate to. And once you develop that interest, and some time passes, then you are committed to it, and then you can continue your preparation. And like we discussed, 1.1, 1.3 and 12, these are the areas where we can you should do at the end.
Abhijit, I think time is running out.
Right. So till now we have covered obviously the book list.
Which topic to start from?
Yeah, we've covered the book list, which was very important. Then as beginners, there are always questions that how much time is needed, which we have discussed. Then which topic should we start from? And now let's move on. Some other important questions that people have a doubt, Narayan, that when should we start answer writing from? Because this is mains and answer writing is the most important thing, right? But again, you have to write answers like expert. So there is always this fear that if you start answer writing when you don't know the entire syllabus or don't know the topic well, and then you get demotivated very fast. So when do you think one should start answer writing, especially for such a technical or let's say value loaded optional like anthropology?
So I think that a simple rule of thumb is that once you have done the basic source, and you have done any one value addition from any one source, it can be from proper copy, it can be from your own test copy, or it can be from some Akshat Jain book or something else. One value addition you have done, then you can start answer writing to see the errors in that. If you simply write what is there in the book, I don't think it is the correct moment. But once you've done some basic value addition, then you can write the test or do the answer writing, and whatever the suggestions are there, definitely can incorporate more and more value addition into your answers. Is what I would say about it.
Right. Initially, one should focus on improving the quality, and then eventually the time factor and everything comes in the picture, right? Or is it the other way around? Or is it the other way around?
So I think that firstly, if you improve the quality, if you memorize and mug up the answer, then the time taken to reproduce that answer, I think, would reduce. So if your notes are high quality and then you mug it up very well, then the time taken would reduce. For example, I got 166 in paper 1, but I felt very easy to write paper 1 actually. Of all the GS papers, because everything I had mugged up beforehand only, especially archaeology, fossils. So simply I was putting down on the paper whatever I had mugged up.
That is excellent. I mean, 166 in paper 1 in this year is, I think, the highest marks. And people have struggled in paper 1. So it is really excellent that you've got so great marks in paper 1. and in paper 2 also your marks are one of the highest total. So yes, so that's that. We've heard what you said, and like you said very correctly, that once you do the basics and then one round of value addition is the time you should start answer writing. Fine. Another very
Definitely.
common doubt that people have is about test series, the utility of test series, or how many tests should we give, and what is the good test series that is available. So your thoughts on that? What is the utility of test series in? I know the answer that you're going to say, but for the aspirants who are new, I really want you to say it. What is the utility of test series in optional preparation?
So I think that if your notes are very good, then the utility of test series actually reduces, because if your notes are really highly enriched, then you don't need to write many tests. And I think for both attempts combined, I only wrote 10 tests in anthropology, which is comparatively very less to what people project. And I remember Manki, whose notes I think were one of the best out of all the notes, like Varun Negisar's notes. He had only written 3 or 4 tests before the
Right.
mains exam.
Mains. I had
So I
written
think
only 4
you
tests.
should. Yeah.
I had written only 4 tests before the mains, but last year I had
Right.
enrolled myself in the 2 institutes tests, but I had not completed because my preparation was not complete. But this time I wrote full length tests, only paper 1 ke do, paper 2 ke do. That's it. And I did not do others. And you're very right, actually, that contrary to popular perception that for like prelims and mains, you need to write a lot, lot of mock tests. This I like our belief is a little unconventional. I would say that we both sort of agree that if your notes are very good and if you revise and revise and revise very well, then the test series need, or rather the utility or value that you can gain out of it reduces with the time. And then that is,
Definitely.
I think, a very interesting sort of of way to look at this. But I think students should also exercise their own judgment and their
At
own
least I think you
person.
should write 4 tests so that you can know how to, yeah, you can know how
Yeah,
to choose the questions, and the time management you can
exactly,
at least 4 tests
exactly.
you should write definitely.
It should not come as a surprise on the exam day. I mean, you should not be discovering new
Yes.
things on your exam day. Everything should be done, and this goes for other levels of preparation as well. So yeah, how many tests
I
you have
think
written? Yeah.
most people realize that one anecdote is that most people realize that not happen on optional.
Sorry, your voice was getting cut. Can you repeat once again, please?
So, yeah, I will repeat that. Many people find out that CSAT is only 80 questions, not 100 questions on the day of the exam. So something like that should not
I
happen in
did that
anthropology.
on my first attempt. I did mine in my first attempt. Yeah, but
I
since
see.
we just mentioned CSAT, CSAT is again a paper that is not to be taken lightly. These days, CSAT is getting difficult. I know of people who got 114 paper 1 and then CSAT they could not clear.
And I found
So
CSAT paper tougher than prelims paper in 2021. I found the CSAT paper was
yeah,
much more
CSAT paper
training
was
experience.
tougher. Yes, yes, CSAT paper was tough actually. More than
Hmm.
thing. It was not an easy paper, especially in that environment where you have already in that uncertainty zone after GS1, with GS paper, your stress level is at a maximum, right? So
Yeah.
you had written only 4 tests. So okay,
I had written 10.
you had written 10, right? Right. I had written 4. So all from one single institute.
So I had taken test series from 2 places. First attempt, I had taken it L2A, and second attempt, I had taken it L2A again. And after my second attempt, I had taken it level up. So I think both places I found nice only, and they helped in my preparation, I would say.
So the third attempt you took in level up.
Third attempt, matlab, I after my second mains, I was still like after mains people are free, so I wanted to work even more on anthropology. So I took one more test series after my mains
So
also.
you had the idea that your anthropology hadn't gone well.
I felt that I was feeling that I'll get around 285 in anthropology, and in case, because of some reason if I get IPS or something again I have to write, so I'll try to improve my anthropology only. I was feeling something like that.
And that
But
worked also, right?
yeah,
And that came useful also, right?
this is after my second attempt. Like this attempt mains hone ke baad, then also I took one test series.
Oh, then also you took test series.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
in
Yeah,
overabundance of caution. Nice, man.
yeah, overabundance of questions. Right, exactly.
This is the first
Because
time I've
after
heard
January, yeah,
some story. But yeah,
because
this exam is too
January,
unpredictable, man.
yes.
Mm.
So if you would have gotten both, you would have gotten instead of 50, 70, you would have 80, 100 rank. Both of us would be writing the exam again, right?
Yeah. Then this 1-2
Yeah.
marks पूरा change होता था life यार. आप बोलो उनको coaching institute वालों को कि मैं वो पैसा वापस लेना है, then you'll be the brand ambassador, man, of them. Anyways, that's a nice story to hear. So I had taken L2A in my first anthropology attempt and Vijeta IAS in my first anthropology attempt, but unfortunately none of them I could do seriously because I was caught up in the studying new part thing cycle as well. I was also under the false impression that you are okay if you write answers like a generalist rather than an expert in optional, which is wrong. In my fourth attempt, in my this fourth attempt and my second optional attempt, I took Vijeta IS again and I did only 4 tests like I was mentioning because I knew what is expected of me and I practiced and revised and formal tests I took only 4. So that is that. If many people were asking, I'm sure would have asked you about the test series
See, one
also.
unique thing about anthropology, I'm just able to recollect, is that the toppers are very responsible people. That we are doing this video, other toppers have done their videos, they upload their notes. This culture is not there in other options I have found, like to this extent.
Really, I'm not
toppers are
aware
putting-
of that. That is good, man. Anthropology teaches people broad-mindedness, no cultural relativism.
Yeah,
That you respect other points of view also. So you
definitely.
look out for everyone. But in a way,
Yeah,
on a serious note, also anthropology makes you a better person. I feel so.
definitely.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree.
Yes. So just quickly, any specific value additions that you felt were very useful for you? Like I can mention some, but you can go ahead and mention some of them.
So
Like
I
for
think Ember and
example,
Ember is definitely useful.
Ember and Ember, yes.
And
There is
I had
one
a unique,
topic. There is one topic called approaches to study Indian society. That is, I think, from this Nadeem Hasnan's book. It's a, I think, 10 or
right,
15 page section. That is very conceptually good. If you understand that, then a lot of questions of paper 2, you'd be able to add new insights. So that is one value
right.
addition that I made. So Indian anthropology, this Nadeem Hasnan's book, approaches to Indian study Indian society. I have my notes on that. It's uploaded. Archaeological sites, I mugged up a lot of archaeological sites, some 2-3 features like Narayan was mentioning, and 1-2 diagrams if something extraordinary happened there. For example, Son Valley, you need to draw that step diagram, man. Mm.
I forgot it so many times. I remember 3-4 times. I again forgot it 3-4 times.
Me also, because which comes like pre-Swan, early Swan, and late Swan, A, late Swan, B is also there, no? Which is A stop or
Yeah,
B
yeah.
stop, these things.
LSA, LSB, late on
Yeah,
AB, something like
AB. Yeah. I mean, these are small things that stick in your memory. That these, and you feel nice about thinking about it right now, recollecting it, right? Once
that. And I think
you
one thing I found was that Ministry of Tribal Affairs annual report I had done, and that I found very useful because all the schemes I had idea of, like Ecological Model Residential School, some program is there. I thought like a conservation come development scheme for PVTG. All this you get good idea from the Ministry of Tribal Affairs report. And
that
it's
is
only
one
80 pages.
right. So
Mhm.
that is one value addition that you can do. I had done a little value addition on this regard, but not from the website. That's actually a good thing that you mentioned. Again, diagrams, alag se you will have to study. But in your preparation only you will study, but diagrams specifically will do good value addition. Basically, what it will do is if a question is a little untoward, then these will act as safety nets. Your marks won't go
Mhm.
that down. I mean, it'll sort of restrict the lower margin. And of course, Indian anthropologists and foreign anthropologists, paper 1 and paper 2, all the anthropologists I had made good notes on them. Extra hard work I did for that, and I think
Right.
it got paid off also in the interview also. Interview, they
Right.
asked me about Iravati Karve. Why was she
Hmm.
named Iravati Karve? Because she
Hmm.
was born in Myanmar. Her father was a very, father liked the country Myanmar, and Iravati River is in Myanmar, right? So Iravati Karve
Right.
was named after her. So
Very
these
interesting,
small,
right?
yeah, very interesting. These small things, if you do the extra bit of hard work, and it sustains your interest also. If you read about such exceptional people, the struggles that they have to go through. For example, Madhumala Chattopadhyay, the first female anthropologist to make
Yes, yes,
contact
definitely.
with the tribes of Khan Nicobar, right? These are exceptional people if you read about their lives. So these are small value additions that we did. And I think we've come towards the end of this video. I would like to end by asking, since you have done so well in anthropology, what like 1 or 2 pieces of advice? Let's say you had a chance to talk to yourself who is starting his or her preparation in anthropology 2 or 3 years back. So what are those 2 or 3 things that you would say to that person, to yourself, younger
I would,
self?
yeah. Firstly, I would not say much because I think was on the right path only. But I'll say that you have to complete a major aspect of the optional before your prelims. Otherwise, it becomes very tough to complete optional during the 3 months period.
Yes,
at least basic one round of value addition and complete syllabus you have to do before. Second round you can do it during the period, but first round definitely you must complete before prelims. Otherwise you'll get a 250 kind of score, and then you might not get your preferred service.
Absolutely.
Last year I got 289.
That is the reason why I screwed up my anthropology in my last attempt. Because I did this, I thought that I'll study in the 3 months, because those 3 months anyway they're overburdened with a lot of things, practice, revision of GS only. So you don't have time for all this. So you're very right. That is one thing. And anything else? Any other advice to new aspirants?
So, hello.
Yeah, your voice was cutting. You can say once more.
Yes, I think now I'm audible.
Yeah, now you're audible. Any other advice you would like to give?
So I think that probably I would tell myself that I'm not exactly able to recall, because I feel like that I have been on the right path in anthropology. I have not made many mistakes.
For aspirants who are starting out or who've done some preparation of anthropology, what would you like to tell them?
So I think so one thing is that being dedicated and completing the syllabus is very important. For example, if you complete Narmada Man topic, you should take pride in the fact that you don't need to do that topic again in your life ever, because already the notes are made. So like this, with this kind of philosophy, you start completing the syllabus section by section. Then the big syllabus that appears like a mountain, then you can complete it in 3-4 months.
Because it's a big ass syllabus.
I think this one
you have to take it stride by stride and ensure that once you're done with this, you don't have to come back and restart or redo it again. Because in my third attempt, I remember I did this redoing a lot. I did one okayish, and then I came back and I thought, oh, it's not done well, and again I did it, which wasted my time. So a lot of wrong things that I did. That was very good point that you mentioned. And this is a very big sort of a subject. You have to write like an expert is what I would tell myself. Practice is very important. Completing the syllabus on time is very important. And being able to interconnect ideas, working hard on some value additions is very important. So these small things, I mean, if you are a sincere person who is preparing, you will know all these things. I mean, with time you'll
and definitely you should attempt for 280 plus. If you're taking anthropology, 280 plus only you should definitely attempt. I think Abhijit, you got 280.
No, I got 273. Man, my marks were not that good. But you should try 300 plus. I mean, 300 plus should be the aim. No, nothing else. Because you never know what sort of essay comes or what sort of GS comes, because this is a very unpredictable exam. I'm lucky that my interview marks were good, and other essay marks were very good, that anthropology mein itna kam milke bhi I could secure such a rank. But yeah, I mean, and if you're serious about it, go full blazing, ma'am. There is no room for complacency in this exam. Everyone has struggled. I mean, Narayan also would have struggled. Has his own struggle. I've also struggled. I mean, everyone struggles. Everyone suffers from insecurity. So that is, I think, the last thing that I would say. Any last one sentence that you would like to add?
So one sentence would be that anthropology is a very beautiful subject, and it will give you great marks provided you put in the time. So if you put in the time, you will get very good results.
Yes, absolutely.
So, I'm very happy with anthropology.
Me also, and I think it's one of the best decisions that I've made to take anthropology as an optional. So I'd like to conclude by just one thing I remembered. This Ruth Benedict, she and for those people who are not aware, she is a very famous anthropologist of the Culture Personality School. So she and one of the pioneers of female anthropology and feminine anthropology. So her very famous quote is that the purpose of anthropology is to make the world safer for human differences. It's such a beautiful, quotation. It sort of sums up the beauty of anthropology and why we study it. When I had read that quote, the first thing I did, Ember and Ember, because that is sort of the standard book, according to me, which sums up anthropology for me, right? So on the first page of that, I wrote down that quotation. And every time I used to look at that, I used to feel that, oh, this is worth it. I mean, it's such a beautiful subject, and it makes us, and it actually does, it makes you a different, better human being.
Some other scholars said anthropology is too important to be left to anthropologists.
Sorry, I could not catch you.
Also
I could not catch you.
One famous other statement is that anthropology has become too important to be left to anthropologists.
Yeah. It is actually true, because anthropology is such a diverse topic. It affects every part of human life. So action anthropology, applied anthropology, all these things. It's a great subject, anyways. So Narayan and I, we both hope that all aspirants have been benefited by whatever in our own humble way that we've been able to help. We will include both our channel links for in the description. I think Narayan's notes you can refer, my notes you can refer, and whatever sources that we discussed you can refer. The basic idea remains that get the basics correct, do it from the standard books, and then do the value addition 1-2 cycles from some toppers notes or from your test series that you do or some value addition from the internet. That is the basic idea, and but over and above you can build based on your expertise level and everything whatever we have discussed. So thank you very much for joining me, Narayan, and it was a great experience talking to all of you, and I hope you stay benefited. So thank you, and
My best wishes to all.
same, all the
Thank
best
you.
wishes
Thank
to
you,
everyone. Stay positive.
Thank you, Abhijit.
Thank you.